Okay, we're going to ask if everyone who would like would begin to take your seats. We're going to start in the next minute or so. You will begin to take your seats. I guess the bar is a permanent seat for some. Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Okay, we're going to try it again to see if everyone will get everyone's attention. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. All right, if you can hear me, make some noise. All right, thank you so much. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Washington. I am your city manager in Grand Rapids. And I am honored to be here tonight to share on this special night in which we talk about the state of our city, but also the future of our community. Can I have everyone's attention, please? I'm honored to be here tonight in which we discuss not only the state of our city, but the future of our community. We live in one of America's premier cities, and Grand Rapids is an amazing place. And when I walk through downtown and in the doors of City Hall and attend all the various community meetings with our neighborhoods and meet with businesses and go to places of worship and experience the arts and culture of this community, I fully understand the awesome responsibility that I have to bring to fruition the dreams and hopes of our residents and employees and business owners and our stakeholders who care so much about Grand Rapids. I've listened to our residents and understand while they are richly proud of the historical identity of our city as beer city, as furniture city, they want to maintain the historical identity, but I sense they want something more than what we've always been known for. They want the city to embrace what we've been known for, but they want us to also build upon that and be known as the best city in the country. Our city employees feel the same way. I've met with over 1,000 of our employees in various town hall meetings, and we've also had conversation among our city commissioners and discussing our strategic outlook and our future. We've hosted a digital town hall meeting, and I've met with countless community groups and business leaders, and I'm not done. I know there are some of you I had not the chance pleasure to meet with. But one thing is sure is that our city is on the right path. We're headed in the right direction. We're a city with unlimited opportunities and possibilities, but like most growing communities, we do have our challenges. Now, in my previous community, most of you know that I came from Austin, Texas. We've often talked about challenges in that context, and in some cases, we've used analogies of horses. Like, don't fall off your horse. Or when you're facing a challenge, keep your feet in the stirrups. Now that I'm in Grand Rapids, where polar vortexes are realities, I have a new analogy, not horses, but skis. So instead of don't fall off your horse, it's don't fall off the ski lift. Or instead of hold on to your horses, it's hold on to your skis. Or instead of getting back on your horses, getting back on your skis. Okay, you can tell stand-up comedy is not my job. Don't put the cart before the horse. Don't get too far ahead of your skis. You get the idea. So since becoming city manager, I've seen how we need to have poise in the midst of the challenges, embrace our challenges as opportunities. We continue to embrace the challenge of housing shortfall and are doing this in part by implementing Housing Now recommendations. We have embraced the challenge of new and emerging industries and have determined how to responsibly develop the emerging medical marijuana industry. We have embraced the challenge of the recent polar vortex and that impacted over 42,000 lives in our own community and restored our community back to normalcy. We have embraced the challenge of tough conversations around community and police relations and continue to find ways to work together to see our common humanity. I challenge everyone to see that beneath every citizen or every suspect description lies a human being who needs and deserves to be respected and valued. And beneath every person wearing a uniform and a badge, likewise, lies another human being who needs and deserves to be respected and valued. We must be resilient in our pursuit of finding that level of civility and respect among all our community. Yet, despite our resiliency, questions about our future still do remain. How do we maintain or expand those things that we are doing well? How do we make room for more equitable community where everyone has an opportunity to be part of our community's success? How do we continue to ensure economic growth and ensure prosperity is experienced by all who desire advancement? I don't have all the answers, but I do know we have a plan that can help us get those outcomes. And what we've done in the past, we've done a lot of great planning over the past 30 years. We've had a great master plan, and every year we have an annual fiscal plan. But we realize that between the 30-year plan and the annual plan, we need a North Star to help us with our mid-year planning. And that's why the city staff, in collaboration with mayor and city commissioners, we're looking at developing a 3-to-5 strategic plan. This will provide a framework for our vision, our mission, our values, our priorities, and our metrics. It will guide us over the next 3 to 5 years and shape the budget in FY20. Strategic planning, yes, it is important, but at its core, it will help us determine who we are, where we want to go, how we reach our goals, and most importantly, how do we measure our success over time. The strategic plan, in concert with our future master plan, will serve as our community playbook for aligning initiatives, resources, goals, our departmental operations, and projects with a transparent and trackable timeline. Our strategic plan will guide our near-term progress and help us achieve our long-term vision. To begin this strategic planning process, we started with our values, accountability, and make sure that we always act with integrity and transparency, collaboration, working together with community and partnerships, customer service, making sure that we respect everyone and providing a high level of service to all of our citizens, no matter who they are. Equity, leveraging and influence our city organization to make sure that we remove and prevent barriers from creating systematic and institutional injustices. Innovation, challenging how things have always been and how we've done it before, and making sure we find new and creative ways to improve the quality of life of our community. And finally, sustainability, making sure that we understand the impact on everything that we do, on people, on our planet, and prosperity. This plan will help us become nationally recognized as an equitable, welcoming, innovative, and collaborative city with a robust economy, a safe and healthy community, and an opportunity for a high quality of life for all residents. That's how I see Grand Rapids. A city with economic prosperity and affordability where all residents, employees, and businesses have a pathway to financial growth and security. an engaged community where residents, stakeholders have awareness and voice in decisions that affect them, and receive culturally responsive and proactive communication. A city where government operates with excellence and fiscal resilience, and has high-performing and knowledgeable staff and talented individuals with the appropriate tools to do their jobs in public service. A city that is mindful of the health of its residents and environmentally conscious to protect the well-being and life of all residents. A city with mobility, who has innovative, efficient, and equitable mobility solutions and parking. A safe community where all people are safe and safe at all times throughout our own community. This is where our new police chief will come in. I want to thank the men and women of our police department in the absence of Chief Rahinsky, who retired. I want to thank the men and women of our department for doing a great job, but we know now we have an opportunity to select our new police chief. This will be one of the most important decisions that I will make as city manager. It is important that we have the right leader to ensure the safety of our community. I'm looking for someone, yes, who is tough on crime, but someone who is an outstanding leader and collaborative and understands how to police with community. I'm grateful for those of you who have shared your thoughts on what we need in a police chief. Thank you for joining us in the various sessions that we've had so far, and there's a survey that is still open until March 8th. And please let me know what other thoughts you think we may need to take in consideration. I'm confident that whomever I choose will help us strengthen our community and police relationships and continue to build trust. I'm looking forward to both being a part of the future of the city, but also having a hand in creating a future and elevating the quality of life of all of our city services. Together we can elevate Grand Rapids to our higher heights. I'm excited because I will not single-handedly accomplish this. It takes the hands of many people and voices, hands of all ages, hands of all color, hands of all backgrounds and identity. We need your help in lifting and elevating our community. We need your hands to collaborate as well as point out things that we may not see. We need your hands to applaud and commend us when we're doing right. But we also need your hand to help hold us accountable when we're not living up to our own expectations. We need your hands, and with your hands, we can elevate our community. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge all of our city employees and commissioners and all of our partners who've been supportive through the development of our strategic plan. I look forward to our continued collaboration as we elevate our city. And now it is my distinct honor and pleasure to present our mayor, who is a tremendous ambassador for our community. She lives Grand Rapids values every day, and she's a key success to our leadership in our community. Let's give her a big hand as she comes to address us. Mayor Rosalynn Bliss.
Thank you, Mark. Oh, we don't want to spill the water. Isn't he amazing? Last year when we were together, we talked about the city manager search and the importance of the role in this community. While the city commission, we set policy and we make priorities in the budget, it is the city manager who is ultimately responsible for making it all happen. Our city commission was committed to finding the absolute best possible person to fill this role, and through a lot of focus and persistence, and I can tell you hard work, we achieved that. And we are so grateful to have Mark here in Grand Rapids. So good evening, friends and neighbors and fellow Grand Rapidians. I know, I love saying Grand Rapidian. It's a good word. I am so excited to be with you tonight to talk about our city, a city of opportunity with a focus on building a better future. Tonight, We will look back at our accomplishments to affirm progress that we have made. We will also examine ongoing work, and we will turn our gaze to the future, highlighting our shared vision for progress. A significant part of our city's success comes from our many strong partnerships. A great example is our gathering here this evening, which would not be possible without the generous support of sponsors. So for the sponsors who are here tonight, I'm going to ask you to please stand so that we can all give you a big thank you. So if you're a sponsor in your city, please stand. Another element of our city's success is our partnership and deep support with other elected officials. So I want to take this moment to acknowledge the elected officials who are here this evening. So if you are an elected official, please stand. And I'm going to ask you to please join me. So I know you're out there. It's hard for me to see. But all of the elected officials, please stand up, including my colleagues up here. Elected officials, please stand up. For your service and your sacrifice, and really for being a champion for Grand Rapids. And I want to take this moment to give a very, very special thank you to my colleagues on the City Commission. Commissioners Ruth Kelly, Joe Jones, Kurt Rapart, John O'Connor, Sunita Lanier, and Nathaniel Moody. I am so honored to serve our city with such a dedicated group of servant leaders. Another thank you is to the members of my Mayor's Youth Council who are here tonight. Hopefully you had a chance to say hello to them. I always say that I hope I see one of them around the City Commission table someday. And I most certainly want to give a heartfelt thank you to our dedicated city employees, especially those who worked really long hours to respond to the needs of our community as we have endured several severe weather events this past month. This winter has been, in my opinion, a shining example of our community spirit of coming together. From our neighbors helping others by shoveling, clearing storm basins, and sharing parking spaces, to GRPS collaborating with the Red Cross and County to make sure there were places for people to stay warm, to the Rapid providing dependable public transit, to organizations making sure that food was available to children and families throughout our city. And a special thank you to our governor, who provided additional resources to help in our storm cleanup. So the first sign of momentum I want to highlight tonight is the creation of our strategic plan. You may know the saying that if you fail to plan, you should plan to fail. I have found that to be true in my personal life and in every organization that I've worked with. And our city is no different. Exceptional cities recognize and appreciate the need for focus. These past few months, as our city manager said, he has been working with city staff and the City Commission on developing an aspirational strategic plan. This plan will be our guiding light and will serve as a blueprint for the work we have ahead. While the limits of time prevent me from covering all of the elements of the plan tonight, I'm going to pull out just a few top-line issues and encourage those of you with interest for examining the broader vision and plan to please go to our website. The strength of a city is directly tied to the strength of its economy. We must never forget that our revenue comes from our hard-working residents and businesses, both large and small, who call Grand Rapids home. As we look back on 2018, we should be encouraged. We experienced a year of positive economic growth and a skyline dotted with cranes. New and expanding business projects brought hundreds of new jobs and expanded opportunities to Grand Rapids. Businesses and entrepreneurs across our city literally broke new ground as we saw them establish and expand in our city. One success story, really among many, that I would like to hold up as an example of the innovation and vision of our business community is Grand River Aseptic Manufacturing, also known as GRAM. GRAM was founded in 2010 as a joint venture between Vanderbilt Institute and Grand Valley State University. GRAM is privately held with more than 100 employees in 2 locations near downtown, dedicated to pharmaceutical product manufacturing. The company has outgrown its current facility due to rapid growth and is constructing a new building on Butterworth. The project is expected to generate a total capital investment of $63 million and create 107 additional jobs. They are creating new opportunities right here in the city that they are very proud to call home. This is a great example of the momentum that can happen when innovation meets opportunity. 2018 saw Bridge Street absolutely transformed with an explosion of new economic activity, including the addition of Bridge Street Market, West Michigan Center for Arts and Technology, and new living opportunities for those proud to call Grand Rapids home. Ground was broken on several downtown projects, including Studio Park and the Warner Building, Embassy Suites on North Monroe, the redevelopment of a historic gem at 50 Monroe, Gordon Food Store opened up on Michigan Street, and they entered a mixed-use, mixed-income development, which I believe is a strong model for future developments. These developments and dozens of others across our city create jobs for our residents and are catalysts for even more growth and investment. This positive energy is going to continue right into 2019 with the new MSU Innovation Center, the new RDV headquarters, Consumers Energy Regional Headquarters on the west side, the 10 Ionian Tower development, and GVSU Health Science Facility up on Medical Mile. Good things are happening all over our city. This year, we'll bring the Laker Line, our city's second bus rapid transit line. This second BRT will provide another mobility option and help connect residents to jobs, to neighborhoods, and downtown. Our neighborhoods, they are seeing infill projects like the mixed-use development on Carlton and Fulton as new restaurants, pubs, and boutiques abound. The very exciting Plaza Roosevelt development on Grandville Ave. This project will move forward this year, and if you're not familiar with this development, it will bring a brand new GRPS school for 500 students, along with affordable housing, a brand new park, an addition to Mercy Health Clinica Santa Maria, and an expansion to Cook Arts Center. This is what comprehensive, community-driven development looks like. And it is also another example of creating opportunities in our neighborhoods through the Grand Rapids style of collaboration. When asked where we live, most of us would say Grand Rapids. But let's be honest. Those of us who live here know one of the strengths of our city is that it is really made up of a collection of truly awesome neighborhoods. Each of them have their own distinct identity and assets. So regardless of whether you believe the West Side is the best side, or you want to keep Creston funky, or Easttown eclectic, or you are currently organizing in the MLK Park neighborhood, we know, I know, we should give a shout out for MLK. What we know is we know that strong and vibrant neighborhoods and neighborhood business districts with their own flavor are essential to strong cities. So rather than having a one-size-fits-all approach, City Hall knows that the best philosophy to supporting our neighbors and our neighborhoods is to ask you what was needed. And this year, we were not disappointed. We awarded more than $65,000 through our Neighborhood Match Fund to 42 creative and unique neighborhood projects, many of them focused on and led by our youth. So this little, I hear Stacy out there. So this little free library in Oakdale neighborhood would not exist today without the Match Fund, nor would this community garden in our Roosevelt Park neighborhood. Strong neighborhoods. Strong neighborhoods bring people together and they create opportunities for connections all around a shared love for where we live. While our neighborhoods are unique, we also come together because we love Grand Rapids. One example is the gathering of more than 450 participants who turned out for last year's Neighborhood Summit. And we are very excited. About the rapidly approaching 2019 Summit that is coming up this Saturday. Yes, this Saturday on March 2nd. And I hope I see you there. So another priority in our strategic plan is the objective of creating a city where there is opportunity for all. Opportunity for everyone. Grand Rapids, we continue to make a ton of lists. We continue to top lists for the best place to find a job, buy a home, visit, start a small business, along with being one of the fastest growing metro economies. Our local economy is strong. We are currently experiencing a 3.1% unemployment rate. Grand Rapids is working in many ways. Yet we know that this does not represent the story or the experience for everyone. Our economic recovery is still far from reaching all people, and they are still visible inequities by race and ethnicity. These inequalities, they impact our community's economic vitality and the basic quality of life for so many of our neighbors and friends and residents. As we work to reduce these inequities, we must be intentional and focused in our efforts, as well as work across sectors in order to have the greatest impact possible. We must drive at a faster pace of positive change and momentum, especially in our historically marginalized communities. We need to support post-secondary degree attainment for people of color and first-generation students, which is why we continue to strongly support the 2 College Through College program. We must support effective workforce development and opportunities for wealth generation. Just as our economic development experts remind us that our best prospects for new jobs and investment come from those companies that are already here, I believe that we have a great resource if we stay committed to identifying talent and investing in the the talent that already exists in our neighborhoods. We must be a city that promotes opportunity and inclusion for all residents. This fundamental belief led to our partnership with Samaritas, the Grand Rapids Area Chamber of Commerce, and the West Michigan Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in what is called the Gateways for Growth Initiative. Grand Rapids, we were selected as one of 13 communities across America that received a Gateways for Growth Award and corresponding funding to develop a strategic plan. And the strategic plan is focused on integrating immigrants, fostering economic growth, and promoting inclusion for all. We are also developing an equitable economic development plan led by our Economic Development Department and including key partners throughout our community. We also continue to support the important work being done by the Latino Talent Initiative, Grand Rapids Area Black Businesses, and the West Michigan Hispanic Chamber. There are a number of success stories from these efforts, including GRAB and their assistance. GRAB recently assisted Reliable Medical Transport to secure a $250,000 small business loan to expand fleet and service capacity from Northern Initiatives. We need to do more of this. We are also very eager to find ways to partner with the newly formed Asian Pacific American Chamber of Commerce. These efforts are critical as we continue our growth and progress. As we continue it, it will only occur if we truly are an inclusive and diverse, business-friendly city. We need to be a city where, regardless of your zip code, you have access to opportunity and the support necessary to reach your full potential and dreams. Driving this change doesn't just happen by focusing on adults. One way to elevate opportunity for every single child that grows up in our city is to be successful in establishing a promise zone. A promise zone, which is meant to provide students with scholarships to attend a 2-year community college or a 4-year university. I am incredibly excited to have the opportunity to serve on the newly established Promise Zone Authority as we work together and we come together to make sure that this incredible opportunity is available to every single child in our city. I want to say thank you to our amazing superintendent, Superintendent Weatherall Neal. We are so grateful for you, your leadership, and your vision. The Promise Zone, this opportunity, has the potential to be a game changer for our community, and it will set us on the course to truly be a city of opportunity for everyone, and she was instrumental in getting us here today. Additionally, the Grand Rapids Racial Equity Initiative continues to work to increase equitable employment and reduce racial disparities in our city. One of the primary efforts supported is called Higher Reach. This is a collaboration of Talent 2025 and West Michigan Works that equips employers to utilize evidence-based employee selection processes for hiring. One that helps to remove and eliminate unconscious bias. Currently, there are 10 employers in our community participating, with the city of Grand Rapids being one of those 10. So for those in the audience who have been with me on this journey, those who are members of the Grand Rapids Racial Equity Initiative, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your time and your passion and your participation, and a huge thanks to Dr. Pink, who's been my co-chair. Mobility. mobility. City manager already brought it up, we're going to talk about it some more. So mobility. Mobility is another key component of our strategic plan, and you will find it outlined there. The continued growth of our urban core and our neighborhood business districts as great places to live and work has continued to create increased demand and challenges related to parking. We need to be a city where we have mobility options for everyone. We need to be a people-focused, smart city, one that nurtures innovation and one that is prepared for future and changing technology. When it comes to parking, the city is your partner. A full consideration of the many complex issues around parking makes it clear that we must have an all-of-the-above mindset on addressing mobility concerns and not just parking in isolation. Our community has a need to invest, innovate, and drive forward new solutions that match the realities of Grand Rapids today in 2019 and well beyond. Take heart that progress is occurring, sometimes not as quickly as people like, but it is occurring, even as we continue to evolve our mobility roadmap together. So just one example of that is that we anticipate approximately 2,500 new parking spaces coming online downtown this year. And our investment in infrastructure continues. This past year, we completed 51 miles of road construction. We are also looking at new ways to get to work, and this past year brought some clear progress. A new and enhanced downtown area shuttle, or DASH as we know it. With the changes to the DASH, we saw a 30% increase in ridership. Yeah, that is, let me tell you what that is. That is nearly 60,000 total rides. That's progress. We are also partnering with May Mobility on a pilot to deploy 4 electric autonomous shuttles downtown. This year we aspire to pilot car share, bike share, and yes, e-scooters. But I want to tell you, this is, I know, I get lots of feedback about the e-scooters. We shall see. But I want to make it clear that this is not just about cars and buses. We have kept our focus on safety as we set new pedestrian crosswalk standards and a 5-foot wide bicycle passing ordinance. I am so proud that we accomplished new records for protecting the safety of pedestrians and bicyclists. Bicycle crashes involving motorists are at a 10-year low in our city, and vehicle pedestrian collisions are at a 3-year low. This type of progress for non-automotive modes of transportation is critical to being a vibrant, economically successful, and citizen-accessible community that is defined by our vision. So let's shift our focus to housing. Affordable housing continues to be a critical issue in our city. We must be a city where there is a place for everyone who wishes to call Grand Rapids home, for them to be able to find a place to live. To those of you grappling with this challenge, know that whether you are the server who is providing coffee or the caregiver helping our seniors or the staff cleaning hotel rooms, the construction worker on the job site, you can be assured we want you to continue to have the opportunity to live in our city, in your city. You are a part of the heart of what makes our community so special. I want to applaud my colleagues on the City Commission because we have worked hard on this issue of equitable access this past year. We adopted changes to our zoning code. We increased our down payment assistance program for low-income homeowners. We passed a residential rental application ordinance and supported, I know we can clap for that. We also supported the eviction prevention program, and just last year, 131 families were helped. And we continue to work with and support our amazing nonprofit housing development organizations as they too work with us to ensure access to affordable housing throughout our entire city. Although overall our progress in this area is encouraging, as we move forward, there have been some stumbling blocks. So with all of the positive strides forward, a new challenge has come with the county's decision, I should say, with the county's decision to dissolve the Kent County Land Bank. The Land Bank has been a strong partner with the city, and they assisted us in securing over $1 million to demolish blighted properties. They assisted us in overseeing cleanup of contaminated sites and assisted in creating 195 affordable housing units over the last 6 years. With the elimination of the land bank, a new gap was introduced in our strategy to reach our affordable housing goals. We are right now actively working to identify a new approach and other tools that are available that we can utilize to address the growing needs related to affordable housing. This is a priority for us this year. In addition to ensuring children and families have affordable housing, we must ensure homes are healthy and safe. This effort is one we are addressing head-on, and the effort will continue in 2019. Despite operating a lead hazard control program for years, our community still sees children who are poisoned by lead. The primary cause is coming from lead paint in older homes. In response, we created and launched a Lead-Free Kids Committee that includes my colleagues, Commissioners Lanier and Erpart, along with a number of community members with relevant experience. We are currently working with researchers, and they are helping us to analyze city ordinances, compare them to best practices, and make recommendations for changes. We are working closely with our partners at the county and the state to ensure cross-jurisdictional collaboration as we work toward a shared goal of preventing our children from being poisoned by lead. I am confident that our strategic and collaborative approach will have a positive impact on children in our community. In addition to being a city that's wonderful for children and that attracts millennials, we want to be a great place for people as they age. We noted last year when we were together that Grand Rapids has many neighborhoods where more than 20% or 1 in 5 of our residents are 65 years or older. That's right. A huge asset in our community. And it's incumbent on all of us to make sure that Grand Rapids is an age-friendly city. The work of this past year has led us to focus on 4 important areas of improvement: communication, outdoor spaces, housing, and transportation. As a result of this work that has happened and the focus we have had, we now have identified recommendations to ensure that Grand Rapids truly is a great place for everyone, regardless of your age. This year, we will begin to execute a subset of the recommendations that came from this work. We also need to be a city where all people, regardless of their age, feel safe in our community at all times. As our city manager mentioned, having a safe community is critical to our success, and that requires our continued commitment to strengthen community police relations. This requires building a strong foundation of trust between community members and our police officers. This past year, we spent a significant amount of time and energy on these efforts, and some tangible progress occurred. Under former Chief Rohinsky's leadership, we started a Policing at the Speed of Trust program, bringing officers and residents together to build relationships. Significant work was done by our Police Policy and Procedure Review Task Force, which examined police officer training, particularly around implicit bias, responding to youth, and officer hiring practices. We know that there is still more work to do. Our time this year will be spent on implementation and action as we prepare to welcome a new chief in our department. I want to take this time to thank all of the community members and police officers who are part of the task force and who gave a significant amount of their time to this hard and critical work. This work has been very important in laying a foundation of understanding that we can use to build long-term sustainable results. I also want to thank all of those who serve our city as police officers. Every day and every night, we are served by a dedicated force that I know shares our love for this city and our potential, and I thank them for their service to our community. Let's shift our focus to spaces. Spaces are essential to be in a city that offers a great quality of life. Our parks and public spaces make our city come alive. If you want to feel for momentum and potential of what we can achieve together, when we come together, consider how far we have come. It was just 10 years ago. We had inoperable drinking fountains, closed restrooms, broken slides, crumbling tennis courts, the constant threat of closed pools. One of my favorite natural spaces, Huff Park, had a broken playground, a boardwalk with splintered boards and complete sections underwater. A beautiful natural gem right here in our city was falling apart. Thanks to our voter-approved Parks Millage, Huff Park has a new life and is once again a destination and a place of beauty and solitude. After the grand reopening, Brian and I went out and we walked on the new boardwalk, and we saw neighbors of all ages strolling, deer in the surrounding woods, and cattails. As we finished up our walk, children were playing on the new playground. We even ran into my mayor's Millennial Advisory Board. And they were out, there you are, and they were out foraging in the park. It was amazing. But Huff Park had come back to life and is once again a contributing factor to the vibrancy of our city. The Huff Park Renaissance is exactly the type of project that we envisioned when voters came together and supported the Parks Millage in 2013. For citizens, this has been a very smart investment. On this project alone, we were able to leverage over $300,000 in additional state funds. But citizens contributed in many ways, not just financially. The design was informed and inspired by community input, and it brought together a diverse group of community partners. It returned an asset to our community, an asset that will have a positive impact on our environment and health and recreation for generations to come. The park was reclaimed by listening to our community. This type of successful high payback rejuvenation has been occurring in far more than just Huff Park. In 2018 alone, we invested $3.9 million of millage funds in 9 parks. We engaged more than 750 residents in park design and planning. We had over 46,000 pool visitors and 350 swim lessons. And we continue to make vital repairs to parks and playgrounds throughout our city. The progress continues in 2019. There are many exciting projects planned this year. Clemente Park is getting a complete park reconstruction with picnic shelter and bathrooms. And of course, the soccer field. Love that park. Riverside Park is going to install a new accessible kayak launch. In partnership with Grand Rapids Public School and the Wegge Foundation and the National Recreation and Parks Association, there will be 2 new school park projects, both at Burton Elementary and Kenosha, to install outdoor classrooms and nature-based play elements. We are connecting children to nature. Our community has made significant gains over the past 5 years in addressing a massive backlog of repairs, keeping our 3 neighborhood pools open, and working towards ensuring access to vibrant parks. I have said it before, and I will repeat it tonight. We need to ensure that there is a quality park within safe walking distance of every single child who lives in our city. And we are going to work together until we get there. It is an important time now for us to look ahead. With only 2 years left of the 7-year Parks millage, now is the time for us to start to engage our community as we consider the best way to ensure ongoing, adequate, and stable funding for our parks, pools, and playgrounds. We've made strategic and intentional investments, but we need to keep funding the little things that truly make a park system great, like emptying trash cans and mowing grass and maintaining plantings, keeping our restrooms clean, so that they never fall into neglect again. So as we look ahead and we come together as a community to decide next steps, I ask you to join me in also looking back. A vibrant city with wonderful spaces is truly a legacy that has been passed from generation to generation. In honor and recognition of all of those, every single one of the individuals who came before us, who helped protect, build, and enhance the parks that we have today, I have selected Keep on the Grass, A Brief History of Grand Rapids Parks as this year's Mayor's Book of the Year. I want to thank our Grand Rapids Historical Commission for their work in writing and creating this beautiful book. And I hope you will take a complimentary copy with you as you leave here tonight. I promise you that it will broaden your appreciation of the long-standing recognition of how special our space is to the magic of Grand Rapids. Another vital undertaking quickly approaching, and one that requires all of us to get engaged, is the 2020 census. This is an issue that is easy to underestimate. The census may sound boring to some, and unfortunately spark fears of governmental overreach to others. But the next census is an enormously important juncture for Grand Rapids. The tough job of ensuring everyone is counted only once, and counted in the right place is essential to good government. The task, mandated by the U.S. Constitution and conducted every 10 years, since 1790, seeks to accurately tally some 140 million households and over 325 million people across our country. The core belief in one person, one vote is the foundation of our democracy. The information collected in the census is the starting point for determining how many seats we have in both the U.S. House and in Lansing. Being fully counted will help our neighborhoods and our streets and our schools and our hospitals and will make our city stronger. And the reason is because the census is what more than 300 federal and state programs use to determine funding. Funding that comes right back to our city and that supports critical community services, many which we have touched on tonight. So there's this saying in pop culture called FOMO, fear of missing out. So I'm gonna tell you something. As mayor of our growing city, I have FOMO when it comes to the census. I believe we could fall victim also to another trap, missing out because of fear. And I'm asking you to join me to make sure that we do not let fear keep us from responding. I am asking us as a community to address the serious issue of gaining a robust response. I do not want our community to miss out on our fair share of state and federal funding or of having fair political representation. So one of my top priorities this year is going to be to work with all of you because we need all of us to help make sure that we have an accurate and complete census count. So to get us there, we have created a complete count committee called Everyone Counts Grand Rapids. And we will be calling on you to help us to make sure that every member of our community is educated and aware of the census and that they're counted because every person counts. As we get ready to close, I want to take a look back with you one more time tonight. And I want us to look back to 1969. So it was a time before the age of cellular phones or the internet, a time when the Beatles were still performing, and it was a time when Grand Rapids proudly installed Alexander Calder's Stabile, La Grande Vitesse, which was the very first public artwork funded by the Art and Public Places program of the National Endowment of the Arts. La Grande Vitesse would not exist today if it were not for a group of very passionate community members, individuals who loved our city, who advocated for us to be selected. Alexander Calder, one of America's preeminent artists, was chosen to create the very first civic sculpture that was jointly financed by federal and private funds right here in our community. And in May of 1969, our city and the nation watched as Calder's 42-ton work of art arrived in Grand Rapids. The Calder has had a dramatic impact on our city. It energized our community and it elevated the importance of public art. It branded Grand Rapids as a leader in our nation. It was the impetus for our annual Festival of the Arts. That was before I got elected on the commission. And most of all, the Calder has become a symbol of our city. And this year, we celebrate its 50th anniversary. The Calder established Grand Rapids as a city that honors and values public art, which we see throughout our community today. The very latest installation, Love, by Robert Indiana, is yet another expression of what makes our city so very special. It is the love that people have for their community, for their neighbor, and for this special place that we all call home. During a time when there are deep divides in our country, it is more important than ever to come together as friends and neighbors who share a common love for our community. We all share a common goal of being a city of hope and love, compassion, and opportunity. A city where people feel connected and where they feel that they belong. We have all worked together to achieve the progress that I have described in my remarks tonight. And we all need to continue to work together, to come together, to drive further momentum in the plans laid out this evening. And this work must happen with each of us, carrying in our hearts the belief that our role in this community and our own individual efforts, they do indeed make a significant difference in this place that we all call home. I continue to be deeply, deeply grateful every single day to serve you and to serve our amazing city as mayor. The updates and insights I have shared this evening illuminate some of the great progress that we have made together. May it also inspire us on the journey that we know still lies ahead. Thank you so much and have a wonderful night.